I feel like a big reason that we're such a lonely society is because we have all this stuff like weighing us down and like blocking us from connecting. So many of us have unprocessed trauma and triggers and defense mechanisms and beliefs that we may not even be aware of that are literally like controlling us like puppet strings and infecting any relationships that we try to build. And then we wonder why friendships and relationships are so hard to maintain. And when these issues come up, people are always so quick to be like, oh, we'll go to therapy. And therapy, that's great, but not everyone has easy access to therapy. So the loneliness and the other stuff that they deal with just continues to be a
Whether
problem.
we're willing to admit it or not, most of us, if not all of us, are struggling with loneliness. Loneliness is this intangible, almost indescribable void where we just know something is missing. There's a need, there's a social human connection need that is just not being met, and it is killing us as much as we wish we didn't need it or that it would go away and that we could just be lonely and then be fine. It eats at us and it's insidious and it just doesn't go away. Loneliness is tough. And by tough, I mean like traumatic and exhausting and isolating and makes you feel hopeless and unworthy and invisible and everything just bad. I see loneliness not only as a spectrum of experience, but also a cycle. Oftentimes, loneliness
In a world more connected than ever, why do so many of us feel completely alone? Welcome to the silent epidemic loneliness. It's affecting millions of people, and today we're diving deep into why it's happening, the devastating effects it has, and what we can do about it. Let's get into it. The loneliness epidemic is a growing global trend of social isolation and loneliness, which has been exacerbated by factors like the COVID-19 pandemic and technology changes, leading to serious health and societal consequences. Loneliness isn't just feeling a little down because you are spending a Friday night alone. It's a chronic state that millions suffer from, often in silence. Research shows that loneliness is as harmful as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. But why is this happening at such an alarming rate? Why are people so lonely? Technology was supposed to bring us together, yet for many, it has done the opposite. Social media gives this illusion of connection, but in reality, people are feeling more isolated than ever. Instead of real interaction, we settle for likes, comments, and filter versions of life. Then there is the modern work culture. Long hours, remote jobs, and fewer community spaces have led to a generation of people who barely interact in meaningful ways. On top of that, urbanization has changed the way we live. Many people move away from their families and childhood friends in search of better opportunities, but end up struggling to build new deep connections. Take a look at this video.
What impact is the internet and social media having on social connection and loneliness? Let's talk about it. If you're new to my channel, I'm of course Rachel, the neuroscientist. The internet is somewhat of a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it does offer us kind of limitless potential for connecting with other people around the world. On the other hand, there are features of the internet that I think contribute to our sense of isolation. Problem number one is there's a real difference between passively scrolling and actively engaging with online spaces. One can actually increase your sense of isolation and loneliness, and the other can enhance your sense of social connection and general well-being. Problem number two is, although we're among the most socially cooperative animals on Earth and we have developed exquisite skills of empathy, we evolved those skills of empathy in very close-knit, small communities. This global village of 8 billion people that we kind of have access to all the time in no way resembles most of human evolution. This is reflected, I think, in the way that people treat each other in Reddit threads and comment sections. There's a lot of vitriol. We know that people are a bit more spicy with each other than they would be in real life. The thing is that vitriol begets vitriol. So if somebody's spicy with you in a comment section, the chances that your next interaction with another human being, digital or otherwise, is a spicy one is much higher. Rudeness is contagious. You can, however, choose to break that cycle and engage with people online and in real life in kinder ways. The internet can be a conduit for meaningful connection if you choose it.
Everybody is so lonely that they are becoming obsessed with other people. This is extremely common, and I'm going to tell you why. Nowadays, the only social interaction that people are getting is online. But social media interactions are not enough to keep a person emotionally stable. Regular social contact that is in person and meaningful is what regulates the dopamine production in our brains. People who are very lonely and don't get a lot of meaningful social contact have a deficit in dopamine. So what happens is when they actually meet somebody that makes them feel truly seen or truly heard or understood, their brain will surge with dopamine. So when we become obsessed with certain individuals, what we are actually addicted to is that spike in dopamine. We are addicted to the malfunctioning of our brains. And what people don't know is that the human brain sees meaningful social interaction as necessary for survival.
Let's talk about the impact of loneliness. Loneliness isn't just an emotional struggle, it's a health crisis. Studies link chronic loneliness to heart disease, depression, anxiety, and even a higher risk of early death. The mental health crisis we see today, a large part of it is deeply rooted in persistent loneliness. Take a look at this video.
Widespread loneliness in the U.S. poses health risks as deadly as smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day. Loneliness increases the risk of premature death by nearly 30%, and it's revealed that poor social relationships had a greater risk of stroke and heart disease. The greatest cause of loneliness is often considered to be a lack of meaningful social connections.
Loneliness is exceedingly common, with more than half of young people struggling with loneliness today and a third of adults. But it's also consequential for our health, increasing our risk of heart disease, dementia, premature death, but also our risk of anxiety, depression, and suicide. If you look at the overall mortality impact of being socially disconnected, it's comparable with smoking and with obesity, which are classic public health issues. Loneliness is a source of deep pain in people's lives. We are made to connect with one another, to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. And when we lose that, we do feel like a deep sense of pain. It's almost a spiritual pain, if you will. We can't lash out at other people. We can try to numb the pain with alcohol or with drugs. And it's not to say that people who turn to those harmful pathways are bad people. No, look, we are all susceptible to this in some way. But pain that is not transformed is transmitted.
So how do we fix this? First, let's start with real connection, face-to-face interaction, phone calls instead of text, and prioritizing quality times with loved ones. Another powerful way to combat loneliness is to engage in community service. Helping others not only bring a sense of purpose, but also builds meaningful relationships. And sometimes the simplest change can be the most powerful. A break from social media, getting outside, and engaging in hobbies that bring genuine joy can help rebuild the sense of connection. Loneliness might be a silent epidemic, but that doesn't mean we have to face it alone. Real human connection is the cure, and it starts with us. Reach out, talk, and truly connect. You never know whose life you might change, including your own. So what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Bye.